Today I will introduce to you how to connect the constant temperature and humidity test chamber to electricity. For example, this equipment is 220 volts. Now let's go and connect the equipment to power. First, turn off the power switch. Usually, equipment that uses 220 volts has 3 power wires. This power wire is the ground wire. This L wire is the live wire. And this is the neutral wire. Then we only need to connect the ground wire to the ground wire, the live wire to the live wire, and the neutral wire to the neutral wire. After the constant temperature and humidity testing machine is powered on, the next step is to check whether there is water in the water tank. Generally, there is no water added to the water tank of new equipment. Next, you need to prepare a bucket of mineral water or purified water. Pour this bucket of water into the tank just enough to fill it up. Be sure to use mineral water or purified water, not tap water. There is a float switch inside the water tank. When there is no water in the water tank, the device will alarm. Usually the water in the water tank only needs to be filled to 2/3 of the way. Next, close the lid of the water tank. Push the water tank in. And that's it. After filling the water tank, open the device and check the gauge in the device. First, there are 2 sensors installed in the upper right corner of the equipment. The upper one is the temperature sensor, and the lower one is the humidity sensor. A piece of gauze needs to be hung over the humidity sensor. After hanging the gauze, check the sink to see if there is water in the sink. Close the equipment door and set the humidity to 1. After setting the humidity value to 1%, the humidity sensor can operate normally. At the same time, the water pumping motor will add water to the humidification barrel. After the equipment runs at 1% humidity for about 5 minutes, the water in the sink and humidification barrel is filled. At this point, the humidity can be set to the humidity value required for our experiment. For example, if I need 55% humidity, just set the humidity value to 55%. The constant temperature and humidity test chamber can perform fixed value testing and program testing. First, let's introduce what fixed value testing is, which means that the equipment can be set to a fixed value and running time. For example, the temperature can be set to -40 degrees Celsius. Firstly, we set the temperature to -40 degrees Celsius and can also set the operating time. For example, set the time to 5 hours, enter 5 here. Set the scheduled run to on, and then return to the main interface. Click Run to complete. After the equipment is running, it only starts recording the running time when the temperature drops to -40 degrees Celsius. After 5 hours, the machine will automatically shut down. Next, set up a program test. First return to the main interface, and then click on the program test. There is a program number in the program experiment. The device can set 120 programs and then save them. After setting the program, you can freely call the program group. So how do we edit the program? First click Edit and then enter the content to be tested. For example, enter a temperature of 20 degrees Celsius, a humidity of 90%, and set the time to 0.01 minutes. 0.01 minute is the jump time, and the time to be tested will be entered in the next program. Continue to enter the temperature of 20 degrees Celsius and the humidity of 90%, and then enter the time to be tested. For example, if you need to test for 2 hours, enter 2 hours. If another test is required after 2 hours, continue to enter the conditions to be tested. For example, if you need to set a temperature of 40 degrees Celsius and a humidity of 60%, you need to set a jump time of 0.01 minutes. Continue to enter the temperature of 40 degrees Celsius and the humidity of 60%, and then enter the time to be tested. For example, if you need to test for 3 hours, enter 3 hours. If there are other tests that need to be done, continue editing. For example, if you need to do a temperature of -20 degrees Celsius, enter -20 degrees. When doing low temperature testing, humidity testing cannot be done, so the humidity needs to be set to 0. Also need to set 0.01 jump temperature. Next, continue to enter the temperature of -20. The humidity is 0, and the low temperature time needs to be maintained for 3 hours, enter 3. If we only need to do these tests, or need to do a loop test for these several sections of experiments, we can click Loop to set. If you need to perform 10 loop tests, set the number of loops to 10. It means that after the equipment completes the test from the first to the 6th stage of the test conditions that have just been set, it will then test again from the first stage to the 6th stage, and so on 10 times. Next, return to the main interface. Click Start, and the device will start running. This is how to operate the program test.